There's bad news for Liverpool ahead of their Champions League tie with Bayern Munich. Mourinho flirts with PSG, Zidane lays out his Chelsea demands, it's back to business for the world's best, and of course, we look back on your Friday feels. That and more coming up in the next few minutes as I'm your host, Matt Froelich, you are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. First up, and ahead of Liverpool's clash with Bayern Munich tomorrow night in the Champions League, there is some bad news as Kingsley Coman has been declared fit. Now, Liverpool should be worried about the French winger for Bayern Munich as he's been in scintillating form recently and on Friday night scored 2 goals and got another assist as Bayern Munich beat Augsburg 3-2. He did come off injured with a knock to his left foot and many at the club thought this was a recurrence of his ankle ligament injury. However, on Saturday, the physios cleared that problem and on Sunday he was back in light training with him due to retrain with the squad on Tuesday morning. This means that he'll be ready for the match at Anfield in which Liverpool are probably still just favourites. This despite Bayern Munich coming into the game in some pretty hot form. Since the start of the new year, they've played 6 games and won 6 games, leaving them in excellent condition to come into the match. However, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section whether or not Liverpool can win in the first leg. And talking of the Champions League, do you know which manager has won the competition 3 times for 3 different clubs? Answer, there isn't one. However, there is a manager who is hell-bent on doing just that, and it's Jose Mourinho. Asked over the weekend while he was doing some commentary work whether or not he could see himself managing in Ligue 1, he said, sure, why not? He loves to learn about different languages and cultures and he'd love to work in another division. So when it comes to Ligue 1, obviously, the only team that Jose Mourinho is ever going to manage would be PSG. Now, I'm not talking about Thomas Tuchel being any danger of losing his job. However, we've seen it before in France that even winning the title and the cups with PSG isn't enough to keep your job if a poor showing in the Champions League is also part of the season. So if Tuchel does leave, I'm sure Mourinho would join PSG to finally complete his quest to become the first manager to win the Champions League with 3 different clubs. However, this isn't the only club that are interested in Jose Mourinho, as apparently Chelsea, his former club, and his other former club, Real Madrid, have both been sniffing around. For those of you, though, that are hoping to see Jose Mourinho back in action this season and back in the dugout, barking orders at his team, well, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. In the same interview he gave over the weekend, he said that he wouldn't be back in charge this season, as he likes to take some time to prepare for the job, much like an actor would for some sort of obscure role. Jose Mourinho, however, knows what he's doing. He's been a manager for the best part of 2 decades. Anyway, he said that before he took the Inter Milan job back in 2009, he spent quite a few months preparing for it, and in an effort to avoid what happened at Manchester United, I'm sure he'll be taking a lot of time to deliberate and to prepare for whatever his next role may be. But moving on to a little bit more manager talk, and apparently Chelsea are now front runners for Zinedine Zidane. Now, I've just said he's been linked with Jose Mourinho, but if the club really are going to move forward, then Zinedine Zidane should be their man. However, the French manager and 3-time winner of the Champions League as a coach has apparently laid down his demands. That is that Eden Hazard is to be given a new contract to commit his future to the club, and that he'll be given £200 million to spend in the summer transfer window. Now, this money is reportedly going to be spent on Isco, on bringing in Icardi up front, and on Porto left-back Alex Telles to bring him a squad which is capable for challenging for the Premier League title. Now, for me, it actually seems like those 3 signings could go a long way to doing that. With Kepa in goal, with a solid defence of Azpilicueta, Rudiger, maybe another centre-back and Alex Telles, then Kante, Isco and Jorginho in midfield, with a front 3 of Hazard on the left, Pulisic on the right and Icardi through the middle, that's a pretty decent Chelsea team. However, whether or not Zidane actually joins the club is remaining to be seen, but whether or not Chelsea will have a space open for him is probably dependent on the next few games, because Maurizio Sarri's job hangs by a thread. Let's not beat around the bush here. They've been absolutely battered in recent weeks, and should they lose to Manchester United tonight in the FA Cup and to rivals Tottenham in a few weeks' time, sandwiching in between a defeat in the League Cup final on Sunday, things can be looking pretty bad for any manager, never mind someone like Maurizio Sarri, who is under an enormous amount of pressure. Tonight, though, he may be having things a little bit easier than planned against Manchester United, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed that Jesse Lingard and Anthony Martial could be out for a few weeks each after they both picked up injuries in the 2-0 loss to PSG last week. And next up to a quick roundup of the weekend's football, where I'm not even going to bring it to you in some sort of big, elaborate story, because basically the world's best players are back to doing what they do best, and their teams are by far and away top of their leagues, so I'm not even sure if it counts as news. Despite missing a penalty, Lionel Messi also also scored a penalty at the weekend to take Barcelona 7 points clear at the top of La Liga. Kylian Mbappe smashed in a goal for PSG to take them 12 points clear of Lille at the top of Liga. And as for Cristiano Ronaldo, well, he bagged their third goal in a 3-0 win over Frosinone, which takes them 13 points clear at Serie A. So yeah, pretty much everything is back to normal. And who said football wasn't boring and predictable? But lastly but not least, we come to your Friday feels, where I give you guys a shout out for those of you who got your predictions right over the weekend's football. Now, before I do this, I will mention that even if you did get it right, guys, and I don't call you out, it doesn't mean I haven't missed you. I just don't have time to name absolutely everybody who got their predictions right. So if you did get it right, big shout out to you. Well done. Also, many of you didn't this week, however, because loads of you predicted that Real Madrid would win, and to be honest, why wouldn't you? They're at home to Girona. However, that loss 2-1 with a Sergio Ramos red card has meant that many people got their predictions wrong. Doesn't really matter, we'll try again next weekend. The first shout out though goes to Kalindu Herath, who guessed that Juventus, Manchester City, Atletico Madrid and Barcelona would all win their games this weekend, which they did. The next one goes to Mitchell Remker, who said that Lille will drop points, I hope, to Montpellier in Ligue 1, and that happened with a 0-0 draw. And finally, a big shout out to Shiva Mahajan, who guessed that AC Milan would beat Atalanta, which they did 3-1, with Chichov Biontek yet again banging in the goals. What a signing and piece of business he's turned out to be for Milan. So there you have it, that is all we've got time for on today's daily news. Of course, let me know in the comment section all of your thoughts on the day's news. Is Zinedine Zidane going to be at Chelsea? Will Jose Mourinho end up at PSG? And what will be the score tomorrow night between Liverpool and Bayern Munich? You can also smash the like button whilst you're down there and click here or here to check out all of the other videos that we've got going on OneFootball. But until next time, have a great week and I'll see you guys later.